We know where we are. We're listening on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault, WLSDradio.com. Listen to the stream, like, share, tell everyone about it. Just wrapped up a very fun show, Real Talk. You can check all that out on the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. Brand new episodes going up weekly. 2, as a matter of fact. 2 shows going up every week. I think starting back this Thursday, maybe, is going to be another episode of The Dark Place. I know that originally I'd set out to do 6 episodes of The Dark Place. Only 6. It turned into around 25 or 30. Had to recharge a little bit. Because The Dark Place actually is the most difficult show that I do. And I don't do it well. I'm learning. Trying to do it better. But I'm doing it. So that's good. That is good. Brand new short film starting production this week. Echoes in the Night. Excuse me. Echoes in the Dark. I didn't even know the title of my own short film. But that'll be coming out. I don't know when it'll come out exactly, but I know we're shooting this week. We're starting it up, and we have a great cast. We have some prop things coming in this week. We've got some fake blood coming in, some fake knives that look real. I was shown a lot of blades earlier today, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So what's been going on with you all? I made a trip to Nashville a couple of days back, and I went to visit my friend, my best friend Jacob Johnston. He's pretty much been a creative partner my entire life, for probably since the last 20 years. We've done the radio show for many episodes. He's probably done over 100 episodes with me. We've worked on a couple of short films together. We did Colbur Island. Shot that two years ago. That's crazy. That is freaking crazy. Time is going by at such a rapid pace that I don't even know what, like, if I didn't know that it was Friday for the show, I would not know what day it is at all. I probably would. That's a lie. I'm sorry. I don't mean to start off the show lying. But this is a theater of the mind. Theater of the mind. A couple of new movies out this weekend. We got Furiosa, part of the Mad Max saga. But can it be part? I know it's part of the Mad Max universe. But I don't know if I would want to call it that. Because Mad Max is not in the film. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I think I'm going to go check it out tomorrow with my friend. We'll see how that goes. Didn't get to watch the Fury Road in theaters. I think that would have been a sight to have. But going to try to check out Furiosa tomorrow if possible. So, I was talking a little bit about Nashville. So I went down to see my friend Jake. He does a show there. The Main Street Music Show, I think is what it's called. The Main Street Music Show. And it's kind of like, I would say, it's kind of like a variety show with voice actors on stage. You've got like some live music, and then you'll have the audience there. So I thought I was going down for watching the show, which I did, but I thought I was watching the live version that was going to be for, an audience. What I was privy to, however, was the live show for a small audience of family and friends that was on a TV set. And it's going to be edited down and I think released next Wednesday. So if you all want to check that out, that's Main Street Music Show. You can go to Facebook, or TikTok is the big one on there. Main Street Music Show. And you can check out a lot of, and it's clean comedy, it's fun comedy, and I'm going to be making a guest appearance on there in the future. Not sure in what capacity. They have, little short sketches on there, 3 or 4 minutes each, live interactions. So Jake and I will work on something to do that, and he's going to try to, I guess, maybe try to do an episode a month because it is a little bit lengthy. And you do have video and performers and things like that. But Main Street Music Show is what it is. So I know a few weeks ago, we dove into a couple of things. We dove into Diddy a little bit. And we dove into O.J. Simpson a little bit as well. Well, tonight we're going to dive back in to Diddy again, because there has been Diddy has been basically he put out an apology the other day, and I always had this idea of Diddy, and now I was never a big Puff Daddy or P Diddy or Diddy fan. I didn't dislike him, but I didn't own any albums. I knew the song. But, I think Diddy now is done. There was a video that came out where it showed that he abused and kicked, threw things at Cassie Ventura. Diddy's running out in a towel. It's on the video footage, security cam footage that has been released, and I think it's allegedly released by the feds, because when we were talking a few months ago, Diddy's houses were raided in L.A. and Miami. Diddy had these parties. They were called freak-off parties. And everything under the sun that you could think of, and moon and stars, occurred at these freak-off parties. Now, there's a lot of videos that's coming out. Usher Raymond talks a little bit about it. Justin Bieber is a little bit messed up about it. And there's some other parties involved that have shed a little bit of light on these freak-out parties that Diddy would host. And that's why one of the reasons he was raided, because, it could be sex trafficking, drugs, illegal guns, all these things going on. And there had been many, many accusations saying that Diddy has committed, violence against women, harassment against women. And he has adamantly denied any of these allegations. And you can go back to his X page from December, where he actually puts out all these people that are accusing me of these things. All they're doing is looking for a payday from me. The truth will come out, and they're not going to get this payday they want, because they're opportunists. That's all they want. My name will be cleared. That's basically what he was saying. Well, it comes out a few days ago that all the things that were being alleged about him, or many of the things at least, were not a lie. That he himself, P. Diddy, or Diddy did do it, is now found out to be a liar. His credibility, what credibility he had, was shattered. And he put out this apology video. And that's the trendy thing to do. Even so, all these years later, Kevin Spacey has done the same thing. We'll talk about him in a little bit as well. We'll get into a little bit of the things that don't matter to our lives, the celebrity things. But Diddy goes on his Instagram page, and he has a little bit of a apology. And, the Diddy's apology was only about a minute and a half. And in his apology, now I understand a lot of people criticized him saying he didn't say the victim's name, this and that. Now, by law, he is not allowed to say the name Cassie or Cassie Ventura. He's not allowed to mention her by name in that video. So therefore, I'm not going to hold that against him because he's obeying the law for that. What he should have been doing was obeying the law when he was hitting Cassie or some of these other men or women or harassing them. And what this apology does is paint him in a worse light than he was even in to begin with. He should have actually done nothing. Because when you're making these apologies and when you want to truly repent and truly get to the nature of why you're doing these things, why you've treated people this way, why you've acted this way, you should do these things in private. There's no reason for you to be doing these things, posting on your Instagram for 10 or 18 or 20 million people to view. And I'm sure more people have seen it now because it's been on YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff. And if you want to go to any of those, you can go to the Other People Show. Like and subscribe. So what Diddy has done is he's deflected. Yes, that's not me on the. He doesn't say it's not him, but he says, I'm repulsed by the person on that video. I was disgusted now when I watch it back. I was disgusted then when I did it. I was going through the darkest period of my life. I've worked on myself. I've worked each and every day to be a better man. I went to rehab. I went to therapy. I exorcised these demons to get them out of me. And I'm truly, truly sorry. Okay. You might be truly sorry. I'm not going to take that away because I don't know the man personally. But the only reason that you're offering an apology doesn't seem to be because you're truly sorry. Because back in December, you weren't sorry. You were saying that everyone else was the one that was coming after you. You settled Cassie Ventura I think you settled less than 24 hours after she filed a lawsuit. Because you didn't want more to come out. Then after that happened, you had the raid about 2 months ago. When the feds raided your place, they took everything. Now, there has been speculation that Diddy is being used by the feds. And a speculation, and I've watched in a couple of different videos when doing research, is they're wanting Diddy to possibly roll over on somebody higher up than him. And one of the theories is that releasing this video is going to help prompt Diddy into doing what he needs, what they want him to do. Because that's the leverage that they might have, that the feds might have over Diddy. Okay, so we've raided your house. We've got every conceivable videotape that you've ever done. And that's the big thing as well. I'm not saying to do wrong things. I'm against it. I'm against everything that Diddy stands for. However, let's take the opposite approach and play devil's advocate. If you were going to behave in this manner, if you were going to be a piece of garbage and treat people the way that you're treating them, and harass people, and hurt people, and punch people, and kick them, drug them, sexually harass them, all these things that if you do these things, and like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm against all these things. But if you're dumb enough to do any of these things, why? Why in the world would you want to keep any of it on video or audio or evidence? Why would you want to? Other than being a sick individual. Because if you are into this kind of activity, and I hope that no one out there, I think my listeners are a little more high class than that. I mean, you like dry humor. So humor me here. Is that you would not possess anything that could incriminate you. That's like pretty much committing a murder and keeping part of the body in your house, Jeffrey Dahmer. If you disposed of these things like you're supposed to, if you do it, you're not supposed to do it, but if you do, then you wouldn't get caught. Same thing with Diddy. This has apparently been known in the Hollywood and musical circles for decades that he does this. Okay, you're doing this, you've got away from it. You've got away with it up until now. Now you're having a lot of that video footage that was seized being possibly used by the feds to prompt you to do something that you don't want to do. And if you don't do what we want you to do, Diddy, we're going to release this video. Because the video was purchased by P. Diddy's people for $50,000 in 2017. So this wasn't a new video. This was a video that came out, or not came out, but that occurred 7 years ago. And it's just now coming out. Diddy knew that it happened then. Diddy knew that it happened when he wrote that statement back in December. And how many other people has he done this to? So you're acting this way, you're acting a fool, but keeping the evidence. You, sir, are an idiot. You're just you're like George Conway. You're just an idiot. I mean, there's no other way around it. You're just a moron. And Diddy won't be back as far as his career is done. You know, I think back in maybe February or January, he had won or was something at the Billboard Music Awards. He got the key to the city. And I'm not sure, I thought I read something that they've never actually taken a key to the city back. But New York City, which I'm surprised that New York is doing this, considering New York doesn't seem to care about any of their citizens. And they don't go after the real criminals up there. But that being said, Diddy's done. And I expect, honestly, there to probably be a slow drip of videos released if Diddy doesn't come forward and say something else. And if you see, and mark my words, if you see Diddy come out and do something out of character, something that you don't think that he would normally do, then he's like, okay, you've got me. Because Diddy, in a way, is a little bit about like OJ in a way. They thrived on this public persona. OJ loved the fact that he was adored and loved by America. He loved the fact that people loved him. That if you say the name OJ, now who knows how long it'll continue, maybe for 50 years, but when you say that name OJ, you know who you're talking about. You're talking about the drink OJ. Can that be considered, is OJ a beverage? Or, I digress, you're talking about the man. And OJ loved that. He was a man of the people. He loved being in the crowd. He loved taking selfies with people. He loved being noticed. He loved being recognized. And the same thing with Diddy. But Diddy is on a more grandiose level. Because OJ ran into money problems. And OJ, I'd say OJ probably had made about $40 million throughout his lifetime. Whereas Diddy, Sean John Combs, is on a completely different level because Diddy is a billionaire. Diddy, all these things coming back, Diddy possibly had a hand in the Tupac and Biggie stuff. He blew up Kid Cudi's car because Kid Cudi had went out with Cassie Ventura. So when these people, OJ and Diddy, we're talking about right now, when Diddy's not going to lose his money. And I would be even surprised if Diddy ends up in prison or jail. But Diddy has lost and or is going to lose something that money can't buy. He is going to have a reputation and a legacy ruined because of that video and because of his shady stuff. And he's got a lot of things hanging in the balance as well. So we don't know exactly what the story is going to be with Diddy. But just take my word, is if Diddy comes out within the next couple months doing something uncharacteristically like him, then the feds have been like, if you don't comply, another video will be leaked and released. Because it was leaked. No one knows who did it, but I'm guessing the feds. That is what I'm guessing. So yeah, I mean, and I've not even really watched all that much stuff on it. Just a little bit. Another thing that I wanted to talk about tonight a little bit was the Francis Ford Coppola movie Megalopolis. Now, for you all that don't know, Francis Ford Coppola, I don't know why I said it that way, is he's a director that primarily the Godfather saga, part 1, 2, and 3, Apocalypse Now, The Conversation with Gene Hackman, that was another biggie, Rumplefish with Mickey Rourke, and then he did a couple of payday movies, Dracula with Keanu Reeves back in the early 90s, Jack with Robin Williams, and The Rainmaker with Matt Damon and Danny DeVito. So Francis Ford Coppola, he'd run into some problems in the past, but he'd had this one script, this one idea that he had really wanted to make, to produce, to direct. No studio would finance this at all. So this came about, in the late 70s, early 80s. The script, he claims, had to have been rewritten over 300 times, which is a possibility because the 80s, 44 years ago. But he has sold one of his wineries and has spent $120 million of his own money on this movie, Megalopolis. Megalopolis has Adam Driver, Jon Voight, Shia LaBeouf, Aubrey Plaza, Dustin Hoffman. So quite a cast of characters. And it's about the rebuilding or the destruction and the rebuilding of New Rome, which happens to be New York in the future. This one architect, Adam Driver's character, he wants to rebuild, but build something new, modern, futuristic. Then there is a power struggle with the powers that be that just want to build the city back the way it was and keep things the way that there were. And there's some intricacies within that film as well. I haven't seen it. It premiered at Cannes Film Festival just last week, and I've been every day. I check a couple different times to see if they found any U.S. distribution, because there's distribution throughout the rest of the world, but there's no studio company that will say we're going to distribute this movie for you, Francis. Now, for a couple different reasons. Now, reviews have been mixed to poor for the film. And I think last time I looked, it hovered around 44-45% on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't really mean anything, to be honest with you, because no one can really agree on how great movies are. Like Late Night with the Devil, 97%. But most movies do fall into the middle range of if they're well-liked, if they're not well-liked, and whatnot. But this movie, Megalopolis, $120 million. The rest of the world, it's going to be has distribution. IMAX did guarantee Francis Ford Coppola that they would play it in at least 20 cities, limited in the IMAX theaters. And I do hope that this does get released, because I have wanted to go to an IMAX theater. I have yet to do so. And I would really like to watch this movie in IMAX theater. I would even fly, to another city to watch this movie just because I think it's going to be, not that I even think it's going to be great, because it looks like I could see how it could turn into a subpar movie. But if you put $120 million of your own money into a project, you must really believe in that project. Or you must have really had so much passion that you were not going to let Warner Brothers or Paramount or New Line or Sony or any of these people tell you, no, you're not going to make that movie. Because I know in a much smaller scale about spending your own money to finance a movie. I spent my own money to finance Virginia Running, and all due to my own, it didn't turn out quite as expected. And there's been, chatter throughout the last decade, why don't you re-edit that together? Why don't you, reshoot it, this and that? And that's actually going to somewhat happen. I'm reworking the script. When Home Comes Calling is the title. And it's going to be loosely based upon Virginia Running, new cast, and everything like that. But I did put my money into the original, and I'm going to be putting my money into this one. Not only because I believe in the project and myself, but because right now that's what I have to do to get it out there. And that's what Francis had to do to get this movie made. He had to sell off one of his wineries. I don't know how much he sold it for, but he did spend $120 million of his own money to finance Megalopolis. So I would highly encourage you, if you want to go on YouTube. Francis even has an Instagram account. He's got the trailer and the teaser trailer up there. So hopefully we'll be seeing that soon. I do not, from what I've seen and from what I've read, I could see the studio's reluctance and resistance. Because if you have a $120 million film, you're going to need a big marketing campaign to get the word out. Because a little grassroots campaign, for the most part, is not going to work on a movie like this. And that's why you may have noticed a couple of the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, maybe the Marvels or the Eternals, the last couple, they've not done quite as much marketing as they had done before because they did not believe in the project 100%, and they were trying to cut losses. Kind of like with the Batgirl movie that they just totally shelved as well. But Megalopolis, I'm very excited to check it out and to see what happens with it. It may be September before it's released, so we'll see. Time, it just goes by so quickly. It does go by so quickly. Not only the show, but in life. And it does sadden me just a little bit. And it makes me think of Groundhog Day, the Bill Murray movie Groundhog Day. Because it was going by so fast for him. And how long was he there? I've heard reports that he was stuck in the Groundhog Day loop for 10,000 years. But would he know it's 10,000 years? I mean, I can't even imagine. That would be awful. Totally awful. But anyway, we had a little fun talk tonight, a little interesting talk with Diddy. Go in there and watch his apology. I want to know what you all think about it. I'll read a few of the responses. Also, check out the Francis Ford Coppola Megalopolis trailer. I'm very curious to what you all think about that. Like I said, we have The Dark Place coming up, I think, this Thursday. You can check out that on WAXM.com on the on-demand section, as well as Spotify and YouTube, The Other People's Show. Check out all the great programming over there and over here as well on WLSD tomorrow night. We have the House of Rock at 7 p.m. I think Steve is going until midnight, so an extra hour. Thank you for, I just want to give a heartfelt thanks to all the men and women who have served in the country. We have Memorial Day coming up Monday. So hats off and much, much appreciated for serving for your country. It is much appreciated. Thank you for tuning in tonight to The Other People's Show. Please, I'm asking, begging, pleading, like and subscribe to The Other People's Show. I'm not going to bombard you. I'm going to be doing some giveaways and some questions, some fun things on there, and there's some always video going up and a lot of interaction going on. So please go on there, the YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, or Instagram. Like and subscribe. And next week we'll be back, like I said, with Real Talk at 10 p.m. I think City of Angels, and another fun, interesting show of The Other People's Show. Let's see how many times we can say show. You all have a good night.